Hello everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome to my new video. Before I say anything, I'm gonna give a disclaimer because I think I should do this before I make a new video. I rant about books. It's what I enjoy, it's what I find funny. It's literally just for entertainment. I'm not trying to offend anyone. A lot of books that I talk about are very well liked and well received with the audience, and so I'm not trying to start a fight. I love watching rant videos myself about books that I love, that I hate, or that I have never even read. I just find them so entertaining, and so that's just what I'm doing. Today I will be talking about The Wicked King by Holly Black. And yeah, that was a thing that I read. Cruel Prince was the last book that I read, and I uploaded a video about it, a rant video obviously, and I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I said in that video that I wasn't going to continue the series, but I just wanted to put myself through that. Everyone says the books get better after the first book. The first one is the weakest installment. Wicked King and Queen of Nothing are better, and so I said, you know, maybe I'm vibing with it. You know, maybe I'm gonna vibe with it in the second book. I didn't. I also made a Twitter and an Instagram, which are both linked on my channel. And everyone I follow on there, I just follow random book Twitter people because who else am I gonna follow? So many have Carden in their bio. They love him. They have them in their username, and everyone keeps raving about him. And I was like, do I like him? Do I like Carden now? And I had to go deep into myself and think about it, and I said no. I think Carden is a little bitch. When you follow people who praise a character constantly, you're gonna question your own opinion on it. It's the same with Nesta. I follow accounts who really love Nesta and defend her, and that's completely fine, you know, because it's just a book character, it's not that deep. But it makes me feel like I shouldn't have made my video on her where I said I hated her. On my private Instagram account, every time I went on the For You page, there would be Jude and Carden fan art, and I don't know why.
Just to prove this, I screen recorded my Instagram every time I saw it coming up. So here's just 3 different instances of random ass Jude Carden fan art coming up. Like, what the hell?
Never have I searched for anything this series related on Instagram, but still this shit kept coming up. And I don't know what I did to deserve it. I just felt like that was a sign from the universe for me to read the second book. And I listened. Overall, I did enjoy this one more than the first book. I felt like The Cruel Prince, there was a lot of like petty drama and no real storyline. I don't even remember what happened in that book, if I'm being quite fucking honest. There was a plot in this book, but it was literally so thin and so whack. I didn't even remember it half the time. I didn't even know the conflict. Just like in my Cruel Prince video, I will talk about the outside first before I talk about the inside of this book. For this book, we have a water theme going on. The crown is underwater, and with the Cruel Prince, I said, why the fuck is there a branch on the cover? It has no significance to anything that happens in the book. And here I'm like, okay, you know what, the crown is underwater, we have this sea plot going on, undersea, whatever the fuck it's called. That kind of slaps. I vibe with that it has a meaning. So I look further down, obviously, and before the author's name pops up, it says, Holly Black is the fairy queen, Victoria Aveyard. This is the exact same thing it said on The Cruel Prince. I don't understand why they put the same praise on the new book. Did no one read The Wicked King before it came out, and so they had no praise to put on it and had to put it like again? I don't know. I don't understand. I think that's kind of weird. So I turned the book around. I like that it says, have you read, above a picture of The Cruel Prince, because I should have if I read the second book, right? The best part about this though is when you go below this little nomination, it says, I'm gonna read it out. Lush, dangerous, or dark jewel of a book. That sounds kind of familiar. It's the exact same quote by Leigh Bardugo, just a little longer, that was on the front cover of The Cruel Prince. Why are they recycling praise? If this book was so good. If it slapped, why would you fucking do that? I don't know. It's so weird to me. This is my version of The Cruel Prince. Now, I don't know if you can see a difference. Why is it that the book is taller than this book? Why is this? Also, I'm just noticing that the crown looks fugly. Like, who would... what the fuck? It's so ugly. That's such a whack crown. This blacksmith could have crafted any crown with jewels and shit, and he chose this. I mean, okay, I wouldn't want to put that on my head. Just like The Cruel Prince, this book starts with a prologue. The little prologue is a throwback to when Jude and her twin sister were younger and they were training with her stepdad Maddox, who also killed her family, so fuck that guy. They are playing with swords and shit. The only thing that I wondered in this throwback, and that's something that kind of stuck with me throughout the whole book, was the question why they don't just use guns. You mean to tell me that these Fae live next to the human world and they have no technology whatsoever? Are they too proud to use human technology? Why don't they just shoot guns instead of bows and arrows? It's so stupid. I don't even know what their magic does. It's never explained how their magic works, what it does, what the dimensions are. It's just like, oh, they're magical and, yeah, I don't know. Like, they have magic and I don't. I'm Jude and I'm not a Fae. I'm asking too many questions for Holly Black because she's not good at answering them. The book starts off. Carden is now the king and Jude is his advisor, his first advisor. They use a different word, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So she's always by his side advising him, and she can command him, obviously, because he is under her control with like a magical spell, which I also don't know how that works, but it just works. Carden almost gets tricked into marriage. I don't really remember how. It's like some bitch coming up to him being like, oh, this is one of the presents I'll give you, and he's like, oh my god, I like that, and Jude is like, no, don't accept it because she's gonna trick you into promising her to marry your daughter, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. I was just talking out of my ass, you know. He basically almost gets tricked into marriage and Jude is like, no, watch out, she's tricking you, and then everyone's like, oh my god, Jude's so smart. Belikin, which is Carden's older brother, who killed his whole family and wanted to become king, but Jude tricked him because she's so smart. Basically, he's locked up in this tower and Jude goes to visit him. Now, this world building just sucks ass. I have no idea how far away things are from another. Literally all that's described is, oh, I ride from Maddox's place to the palace. I go to Carden. I ride my horse to I don't know where she's going, but she rides her horse somewhere. I don't know how long any of this takes. The world feels so small, literally like a neighborhood. Like everything is in one neighborhood and you could just walk there. I don't know, people just praise the world building so much and I feel like it's just non-existent, and I'm not one to call people out for world building. I don't usually care for world building. I'm more of a character and like dialogue kind of person. I'm not very much into descriptiveness, but if there's no description at all, I don't know how to act. So she visits him in this tower, right? Because she's like, oh my god, he's been trying to have messages delivered to Carden and he can't do that. I'm gonna listen to what he proposes. This bothered me so much because apparently it's already been 5 months since the Cruel Prince happened, so she's been Carden's advisor for 5 months and he's been king for 5 months. It does not feel like that. Literally, she keeps saying everything she's built these past 5 months and all the intrigues she's planted these 5 months, they could all come undone easily, and I don't know what has happened in those 5 months. I never get a flashback to a scene of her and Carden bonding or her being really smart. She just says, oh my god, it's been 5 months. It's been 5 months, I've done so much, I'm so smart, I'm so cunning, blah blah blah. I don't even know what happened in those 5 months, and that bothers me so fucking much. I'm not gonna believe you anything if you're just gonna tell me and not show me and not give me a flashback of, oh, I remember the time. Like, you don't remember anything, apparently. The reason this bothered me, especially in this scene, is because she goes to this tower to visit Belikin, and it's been 5 months, and apparently, in those 5 months, she never visited him. I just feel like if I were Jude, I would have visited him, especially if he's tried to send messages before. Also just to see that everything was going according to plan, that he was locked away safely. But she literally has to introduce herself to the guards to be let in, and they just believe her also. She has to introduce herself and she's like, I'm Jude, I'm the king's advisor, and they're like, I guess. She literally steals a guard after this visit. They talk shit, I don't know what they talk about, and this one guard slaps her and she's like, so then she steals him so he can work for her because she's so smart. And the way she does this, she poisons him, I think, so he goes. She is able, I don't know what this guy looks like, I think he's a grown ass man. She's able to just put him on her horse without any struggle. She doesn't struggle. She's so super strong she can just put this guy on her horse. I don't believe it. She tells him, you have to work for me, and if anything is up with Belikin, you have to come to me first. And the guard is like, okay. Tell me why this guard doesn't do anything throughout the whole book. This was literally just to show us that Jude doesn't let herself be played with. She's so smart, she's so strong and badass. But he's mentioned again and again, but he never has any new information. This bitch, this fucking guard-ass bitch never does anything. He was completely pointless. His introduction was completely pointless. I don't know if he has a role in the Queen of Nothing, but if he does, he could have also been introduced in that book, because he was completely insignificant for this book, and there was actual time taken to introduce him, so I don't understand where that came from. Oh my god. So then I have a note, and it just reads, she complains that she's not like Faye. Oh no, my tummy loud. This bitch was at some kind of council, right? Because there's some council going on with random ass side characters that I didn't even read their names when they came out, because they have no significance, they don't do anything. And she's just thinking, oh my god, I haven't eaten all day. My tummy is like, grrr, and I've never heard a Faye's tummy go, grrr. Bitch, no one gives a shit about your fucking tummy. Just shut the fuck up, bitch. Oh my god. She fights with one of the spies, because, you know, she has this spy group. Also, there were new people added to the spy group, and there's time taken to describe them, but they never do anything. They also never, just introductions, and then it leads to nothing. So she fights with one of the spies, like sparing, I think, and they talk about whether or not it's wise to have her little brother, who is supposed to become king down the line, to have him be away from fairy for so long, because he's not going to be used to fairies. And Jude just disregards it, because it's not wise to just have him not be there. Literally, this is the dumbest thing. I don't understand why they think that it's the right thing to have this boy grow up in the human world. Jude says that it's supposed to be so that he's protected, but I think he would also be protected in the fairy world. How is he supposed to grow up to be a king if he doesn't do anything kingly? And this happens every fucking time. She thinks about something, she doesn't know the answer to it, never mentioned again. It's made out to be something important, never mentioned again. Just shut the fuck up. Her twin sister married the guy that was getting it on with Jude, and then he was like, oh, I just got it on with you to see if your sister would still want me afterwards, which is so fucking stupid. After these 5 months, they haven't spoken in 5 months apparently, and then just now, conveniently, when the plot starts, this bitch comes up to Jude and she's like, hey, can we be friends again? And Jude is like, you know what? Your wedding is coming up. Yeah. I don't understand why this twin sister bitch still wants to marry the guy. And I also don't understand why Jude just forgives her. If that were my sister, I would literally never talk to her again. I would literally be like, you are the dumbest bitch I know. Period. They haven't spoken in 5 months, and now the wedding is coming up, so Jude is like, okay, I guess, like, I should be there for your wedding. And also, as if they haven't spoken in 5 months, and now just when the plot's up, whatever. So Carden has a party in his chambers. I think it was a party, I don't really know what was happening. He has Jude called, because someone tried to shoot him. And Locke is there, you know, the guy that's supposed to marry her sister, that she had things going on with. And there's a literal line that goes something along the lines of, we look at each other, but I look away because we don't share anything. You almost fucked that guy, and he's marrying your sister. I do think you share some things. You don't have to pretend like you're a badass bitch. You are being annoying. Can you tell me why this bitch did not know that her king, the one she has to protect, was sleeping in a room that has a secret passage? She didn't know about this. She just let him sleep there without checking the room first, without checking if there was a secret entrance. This is literally like, Jude is supposed to be so badass, and it's like, oh, but I didn't know he had a secret passage that literally anyone could go through and just kill him. Like, it almost just happened. She goes through the passageway because she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna find who did this, and then I don't know what, but I'm gonna find it. And it turns out to be his ex-girlfriend, Regina, who, her name's not Regina, but that's why I call her in the first video. Regina shot him because she wanted to surprise him in his bedroom, and he was with another girl, and so she was jealous and just shot him. I don't think she wanted to shoot him, she wanted to shoot the girl, but I don't really remember. Anyway, this bitch revealed that her mom, which is the Queen of the Undersea, which is the plot of the book, the Queen of the Undersea wants Regina and Carden to get married, so she has an heir that can rule both the undersea and the land, so she has power over it. That's why she wants to get them two married. I read that and I was like, is this news? Literally, in the first book, in The Cruel Prince, isn't it stated by Regina herself that they were supposed to get married and then she cheated on him? I don't know if I'm wrong here, but when she said, oh, my mom wants me to marry Carden, and Jude was like, I was like, didn't you notice? Didn't you? We talked about this. Carden also set his room on fire. Fucking Jude comes in and she's like, oh my god, this room is burned down. And then everyone's like, yeah, and just like, what happened? And Carden's like, I burned it down. Why did he burn the room? Why was that necessary? I have no idea. And there's a council, right? As I mentioned earlier, this council doesn't do anything. I don't know what its purpose is. They literally just tell Jude information, and that's it. He tries to tell them that the Queen of the Undersea wants to marry Regina and Carden and is probably gonna betray them and start a war with them, but no one listens to her. She's also concerned by the fact that the Regina girl told her that someone you know, wait, I have the quote here. Someone you trust has already betrayed you. This quote is the dumbest shit I have ever heard, because it haunts this bitch throughout the first 200 pages. Every 10 pages, she thinks of that quote. She's like, oh my god, someone has betrayed me. And then she stops thinking about it. And it comes up later when the betrayal happens. She could have literally just went to any fae that's close to her and said, have you betrayed me? Or are you going to betray me? Have you planned to betray me? And if they haven't planned to betray her, if none of that is true, they could just say no, because they can't tell lies. And if it's true, they wouldn't be able to say no. They would have to fuss around it. And then she would be like, oh, you're going to betray me. So this is such a dumb-ass fucking plot. So she tries to tell them, hey, we're gonna go to war, and no one listens to her. And honestly, I wouldn't either. There's only fae in this council, and they're all probably a couple 100 years old. So, if I were them, I would also not take her seriously, because she has nothing for herself. Like, she has nothing going for herself. She then decides that she wants Carden to sleep in the High King's old bedroom, because that's not what he has done before. He moved to a room all the way across the palace, the furthest away from the old king's chambers, and he was not willing to sleep in those old rooms. And then, because his room is burned down, Jude is like, you should sleep there, and he just goes, yes, okay. There's literally no tussle over it. The reader gets to know this plan through her mind, and then in the next chapter, she just randomly, or 2 chapters after, she just randomly manages to tell us, like, in a, like, little extra, oh yeah, and Carden just moved there without any fuss over it. Why did you mention that he didn't want to sleep there then? Why did you go out of your way to tell us that he was resenting going there? And because now it doesn't make any sense why he all of a sudden wants to sleep there, or is willing to sleep there. Because there are thousands of millions of other rooms, and this bitch has the audacity to say those rooms are the safest. What makes them different from the other rooms then? And also, there's this side plot going on with two of her spy friends that they have a history and are in love, but they are not together. And the spy girl tells her, oh yeah, I have a crush on spy guy. And Jude literally shames her in her head for liking the guy because she thinks he's ugly. She's like, I think of him with his ugly ass nose and his scary ass teeth, and she's pretty. Oh, bitch, what the fuck? Locke also, at the beginning of the book, managed to become master of revels or some shit like that, which basically means like the court jester. He just is the responsible one for the entertainment for the king. Jude is like, I don't want you, and then Carden is like, hee hee, I think it would be fun. You got the job. And then she never tries to get rid of him. The twin sister comes up to her and she's like, hey, I don't want Locke in the position. He's kind of weird since he's been in that. Or I don't know what she said, but she just doesn't want him to be in a position because they're going to get married. And then Jude is like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to him about it. She doesn't want to talk to Carden about it or command him to fire him from his position, because then Locke is gonna figure out what kind of power she holds over Carden, that she can command him. Sis, listen, you are his first advisor, his most trusted advisor, and Locke is gonna figure out you have power over him. How does that make any sense? She is in the position of power. She is the king's right-hand man, and she's like, he's gonna figure it out if he's fired. I'm so scared. Like, no, he's not gonna find it out. Why are you being fucking annoying? Also, in this conversation, she's thinking about her twin sister, and I'm gonna read out what she says. Karen, which is her twin sister, doesn't like conflict. Her manner of dealing with all the terror and confusion in our lives has been to become immensely adaptable, like one of those lizards that change color to match their surroundings. This bitch doesn't know what a chameleon is. She does not know what a chameleon is. Their education has really failed her if she is I don't know how old she's supposed to be, like 17-year-old who doesn't know what a chameleon is. Even if you live in Fairy, what the fuck are you being taught? There's this whole side plot about the hunter's moon. I do not know what a hunter's moon is. I don't know why it's special. Is it just a full moon? Never said. The first 100 pages are just building up to this hunter's moon revel. I don't know what it is. It annoys me. And then the hunter's moon comes. There's this random ass dude who had a crush on the king, or was together with, I don't know what his relationship was because I don't care. And I'm gonna read out what advice he gives to Jude and what she thinks about this, because I was like, sis, this is why I hate you. So this bitch is juggling something in front of her. Then everything falls, crashing onto the stone floor. The crystal shatters. One of the acorns rolls close to the fire. My advice, says Val Morin, what a dumbass name, is that you learn to juggle better than I did, Sancho. So I think he was in her position with the old king, and so he's telling her, you have to learn to keep all these intrigues going better than I did, because he failed. His king was killed. And this is her reaction. For a long moment, I am so angry that I can't move. I feel incandescent, I don't know what that means with it. Betrayed by the one person who ought to understand how hard it is to be what we are, here. So he's apparently also human, but basically she's so mad at him for giving this advice. She's like, fuck you for giving me this advice. I'm so mad I can't move. Why is she mad at this advice? This is good advice. This is literally just him telling her, you have to watch out. You have to make sure that everything is fine. And she fails at that, so he was right. Then the hunter's moon comes. This revel that I don't know what it's about. And there's this weird ass tradition where they take a mortal person and they glamour them, and then they just make fun of them and dress them in like filthy things and tell them that it's really good things, and then they make fun of them and shit. And this year, the mortal that is picked is Jude. Obviously she cannot be glamoured, and she thinks she's a bad bitch by pretending and going along with it. I don't know what makes her a bad bitch by going along with this weird ass bullying parade. If I were Jude, I would have just left. I would have been like, thanks for the invite, but I passed. Then, dun dun dun, there's an attack. at the Hunter's Moon revel while she's dressed and dirty. The attack is by the undersea. Now the plot starts, 100 pages in. This bitch takes a knife from her thigh, and I'm gonna be quite honest, she took off her dress to be put in like a potato sack or something for this ritual, for this mortal bully game. And she stripped down completely into her underwear, and then she put the potato sack on, and now all of a sudden she has a fucking knife at her thigh. I just feel like she would have mentioned that she's not just in her underwear, but also with a knife. And also, like, I don't know what kind of underwear she's wearing, honestly, but I just imagine, because she's worn mortal underwear before, just like normal panties, you know, wouldn't they take that knife away from her? The undersea that's come to attack tells Carden this dumbass message. It's like a riddle. Basically what they're saying is he has to obey them, or the queen, and make a deal with her. I don't even remember. Otherwise there will be bloodshed. And Carden is like, Jude, go get the council ready. And she does. And this is so groundbreaking that she goes and does something that Carden has said, that she mentions, oh my god, I've obeyed an order from him. This makes me so mad because she's done it before. So he said something and she's done it. You are his first advisor. Like, I don't know why they are just at each other's throat all the time. If it's been 5 months, get over yourselves and try to rule this fucking country. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's country, this fucking fairyland. Try to rule it properly. There's no time for this pettiness of, I obeyed an order from him. Shut up, just do it. She says, like, what the fuck? They have this council. Nothing happens at the council. The councils are literally 1 page long. Nothing happens. Every time it happens, like, nothing happens. And Carden is like, you all leave, except for Jude. She stays. And you know what this bitch does? She doesn't stay. She leaves. I wrote down, she's like, fuck no, I don't obey you. I'm big mad for what happened at this fucking revel, which she could have just walked away from. She's mad at Carden for condoning it. Sis, shut up. When she visited Belikin in the beginning in this tower that she's never been in, she met this woman that was also in there. And the woman told her that she had information about her mother. And so this is what she remembers now. And so she's like, go free that woman. I want to talk to her. And she's like, I can't go back to the tower because they know my face. So she sends the new arrivals, which I mentioned earlier, they're new spy kids. And they just skip to her, which I mean the woman, just skip to the woman being free. There was no planning. We don't get the planning. It was just like, get her out. I can't go there. I don't know why she can't go there anymore. She's literally like so close to the crown. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. This bitch is the spy master of all the spies. And she literally never does any spying. She never listens to anyone in secret. She never does any spy work, but she's a spy master. I don't know if you're, you know, when you're the spy master, you're the boss, so you don't have to do any work. I don't really, you know how that works. But it annoyed the fuck out of me that she was referred to the spy master the whole time. And never did she do any spying. And then, this is the most glorious thing that happens. Jude and Carden almost fuck. Like, he takes her in a separate room from wherever they were. Also, nothing happens with the woman, by the way, that they freed. She just, I don't know, she just talks. She doesn't play a role. They start making out and they get naked, but they don't do it. Literally, I was so confused by what was happening because they got completely naked and touchy-touchy and makey outy and on the couchy. And then it skips to the next chapter and Jude is thinking about everything they did and especially the things they didn't do, which means they didn't fuck. For me, the whole Jude and Carden thing is a little bit problematic because there is no reason for Carden to be the way he is. It was literally just like he was neglected as a child. And so to get attention, he was going to prove that he was bad and that he was what was expected of him, just worse. This does not explain why he was rude to Jude or cruel to her. They have no connection in my eyes except that they find each other hot. They have nothing in common. I don't know anything about Carden. He has no personality. He is just getting drunk all the time and sometimes he says something sarcastic. This book is called The Wicked King. Never does this bitch do anything wicked. He isn't even there for most of the time. What does he do? I did root for Jude and Cardin, but I think that was only because everyone else that I follow everywhere is so into them. But when I really think about it, I realized that I don't think they click. I don't think they click at all, because they just hate each other and they find each other hot, and that's why they make out, and that's why they find each other attractive. But there's nothing else, because Cardin doesn't show any kindness to Jude, any softness or anything. I don't know why she's into that. Some unnecessary shit happens, and then Jude gets attacked just before her sister's wedding. She's riding home, and then she gets attacked, and she gets hurt, like she gets shot in her leg with an arrow, not with a gun, because they don't have guns for some reason. And then she shoots one of the riders into their leg with an arrow. It turns out later that the person who attacked her was Locke. She never tells this to anyone. She never tells her sister, hey, your husband tried to kill me. Hey, she never tells anyone. I would have just killed him. Fuck it, you know? How is she just, why is she just keeping this shit to herself? I do not understand it by the life of me. Why she's acting this way. She finds out because he is the one, like, at the wedding, he has a limp. And, of course, it was him who she shot. There were 7 people, and he was the one who got shot, not any of the other people. It just makes me so mad, because Jude is supposed to be badass, and if she were badass, she would just kill that guy. But she's not killing him. She goes to the wedding, and it's in the center of this maze that she has been in before, but for some fucking reason, she didn't know that the maze changed, like in Harry Potter. Fuck J.K. Rowling, by the way. So she almost gets lost in the maze, or she does get lost in the maze, because she doesn't know that this fucking maze changes. It's so stupid. You've been in there before, and then you try to tell me you're the spy master, and you have this plan for when the undersea attacks at this wedding to take Oak, because he's there, and she thinks they're gonna steal him. You have this plan, and then you don't even know that the fucking maze changes. Belican is stolen from the tower. Jude finds this out by the ghost, which the ghost is a spy. He comes up to her at the wedding, and he's like, oh my god, the undersea has made its move. And she's like, what? And he's like, they've stolen Belican. And she's like, no way. And so she goes to the tower along with the ghost to see it for herself. And it turns out the ghost betrayed her. He's the one who betrayed her. I was so annoyed by this plot twist. I'm gonna take back everything I say if it was, like, suspectable, or how do you say, like, predictable. But I never saw it coming. There was not a single clue that this was going to happen. The ghost never acted suspicious. He never asked any sus questions. He never even gave the, like, he was barely even there. He had 2 scenes, and then he betrays Jude. In my opinion, you cannot pull off a plot twist and like expect me to be amazed by it if you just pull it out of your ass. You have to plant the seeds for a plot twist throughout the story for me to be like, oh my god, yes, that person did act sus, or oh my god, now I see it, like, of course it's them. But just, like, of course I'm not gonna be shocked because I didn't see it coming, because it doesn't make any sense. Mood. Also, there's 0 description of the wedding venue. I think Jude thinks to herself, oh my god, Locke has outdone himself with the decorations, but I can't tell you a single decoration that's there. Then Jude is stolen away to the undersea realm, under the ocean, under the sea. Underwater people take her. I am so mad about this because this is such a great idea. Having a fucking mermaid thing going on, that slaps so hard. And then the author does not explain anything about the undersea world. I don't know how Jude breathes. I don't know how they eat underwater. I don't know how they drink underwater. Oh, wait, they have special straws. They have special straws. They explain that. But how do they eat? There's also no world building in this undersea, even less than over on the land. She gets thrown to sleep in a cell, and we just get, like, the first time she goes in there, she can't breathe all of a sudden. Like, she just coughs out water. How do they even speak underwater? How does that sound? What kind of magic was there on fucking Jude to make her breathe underwater? Because she has a geese. She can't be glamored, and she can't have spells on her. Right? That's what the geese is. She can't have spells on her, and now all of a sudden they can spell her so she can breathe underwater. However the fuck that works. Cell is just filled of air. It's like on the land, and she transfers from outside in the water to inside the cell. How does that work? Something else that keeps coming up is the fact that it says she can hear the glamour in the person's voice when they're glamoring. How does that sound? You can't say that. You can say, oh, I can hear the glamour come into their voice, but you should explain more. You should say their voice gets softer or they get more hypnotic. But I will say it again, just like I've said it a million times. No explanation given. A month passes, which it's so rushed, and she is rescued by Carden. He makes a deal with them, and I'm not gonna explain it because it was stupid, and as a consequence for him freeing her, like some part of his land is attacked. Now I'm explaining it even though it's stupid. Some part of his land is attacked, and those people still have a bargain with Jude, so they go to her and they're like, if you want to make things right again, you have to kill Belican. And she tells that to Carden, and Carden goes, don't kill him, I don't allow it. Why are you not allowing it? What is there to gain for you keeping him alive? Literally, this is one of the dumbest things that Carden says. He's like, no, he's my brother. He's my big brother. I cannot kill him. You are murderers. I'm not a murderer. Fuck you. Conveniently, there's a masquerade, and she, by she I mean Jude, she has to get a dress, and she also gets a mask, and if I'm not mistaken, she gets a mask that looks exactly like her face. At least the line goes something like Taryn's, her twin sister's, face is staring back at me. So how I'm understanding that is that you are getting a mask that looks just like your face, because Taryn is your twin sister and she looks just like you. But no one's gonna recognize her. Her job is to kill Carden, and I didn't explain this, but Belican is on land now. He's the ambassador. That was one of the bargains Carden had to make to save Jude from the undersea, and he thinks that she's glamored by him, and so he tells her to kill Carden. Obviously she can't be glamored. Carden comes into the masquerade a bit late, much late, and he's drunk as fuck. And for some reason he kisses Jude, and then she's like, oh my god, he's poisoned. I can taste the poison on his lips. This annoyed the fuck out of me, because you're trying to tell me that this is the king of a realm, and he was just poisoned just like that. You're not even going to tell me who poisoned him, because she didn't tell us who poisoned him. Also, how? Because I feel like if I were king, I would have everything be tasted before it was done, or brought to me is what I mean. Like, you would have people test your food like it was actually done with kings. But apparently not. Then she gets him to his room and she's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? She tries to get the poison out of him, blah blah blah. She goes into a garden to meet with Belican, and he's like, oh my god, you weren't glamored. And she was like, no, I played you. And he was like, well, here I have the antidote for Carden. If you give me the crown, I will give you the antidote. And she's like, I have the crown nearby, give me the antidote and then I'll give you the crown. And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, how am I gonna know the antidote works? Here I have the poison that you gave me to poison Carden to kill him. I'm gonna drink it, and then you're gonna give me the antidote. I'm gonna test if it works. And if it doesn't work, you're not gonna get the crown. And he's like, okay. So she drinks the poison, and then she gets the antidote and drinks the antidote. But surprise, she changed the fucking poison out for water. So she drank water, and then she didn't swallow the antidote, she spit it back into the vial. So now she has the antidote. I'm sorry, but this still doesn't mean that the antidote works. You know what I'm saying? Like, she brought it to Carden and it worked, but because she didn't actually have poison and she did drink water, and she didn't try the antidote, it still could have not worked. So she's like, haha, I tricked you, Belican. And he's like, I'm big mad, I'm dueling you. And she only has a fucking knife and he has a sword. And I bet this man is over hundreds of years old, right? And he dies. He loses. Literally, I don't even know how. She's like, I'm gonna be fast, I'm gonna sneak up on him. Pff, dead. It's just, I hate how Jude keeps on beating like men that are older and wiser than her by just like in like 3 paragraphs, 3 sentences, and isn't even struggling. That is so unrealistic. So she goes back to Carden and he's like, oh my god, you're back. And she's like, yeah, I'm back, here's the antidote. And he goes, oh, you were just here a few moments ago. And she's like, what do you mean? It was Taryn, it was her twin sister. Her twin sister pretended to be her, and Carden just couldn't tell the difference. I don't want to comment on this because I think it's so stupid. Basically, her twin sister convinced Carden to dispatch like half of the army to go with Maddock to somewhere. I don't know what they are doing with half of the army. It's never said. I don't know what his plan is. But half of the army is gone now, so that sucks. But then Carden is like, oh my god, sis, you know what? And she was like, what? And he's like, I'm gonna make you my queen. We should get married. The reason he wants to get married is so that Jude releases him from the binding that they have, so she can't command him anymore. In return, she's queen of the fairies, and then she won't have to command him anymore because she's queen and she can just make her own commands. She agrees. She's like, you know what, I think you're kind of hot and I would like to fuck. So yeah, the final scene happens. They meet with the queen of the undersea and she's like, oh my god, you killed Belikin, my ambassador, like, what are we gonna do about it? Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? And Carden is like, I'm going to show you. And he raises an island out of the sea. He just does that. Don't know how the magic works. I don't think he knows either. He just creates an island. And so the queen is like, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, I'm gonna lose. And he goes, yeah, you're gonna lose. I don't know what else they discuss. She demands justice for Belikin. And so Carden is like, okay, Jude, I exile you from fairy into the mortal realm until you're pardoned by the crown. Jude is exiled. She was tricked by Carden. He exiled her after he made her the queen, and no one believes her, obviously, that she's the queen, because what proof does she have? And she's just human. What did you think, like, was gonna come of it? You just agreed to marry him because you thought he was hot. I would have never agreed. I would have been like, fuck no, bitch. Like, what's good gonna come of it? What good is gonna come of it? I can't speak English because I'm so mad. Listen, if I were the queen of the undersea, I would have said, shut the fuck up. I would have literally just killed him. I would have just killed him, period. I don't know why this bitch is scared, because basically, Carden is threatening her with just erasing all water and just raising everything up to make, you know, land. And if I were the queen of the undersea, I would be like, you fucking idiot, I'm just gonna flood everything before you can do that. Don't you think that having the ability to flood all of the land is more powerful in that instance than creating land? Just drown everyone before they can do anything. I think that's faster than raising a whole ass island. Also, the fact that he says, Jude, you can only return if you're pardoned by the crown. Is this bitch not the queen? They exchanged vows. She is now the queen of fairies. She is now crown material. She is part of the crown. Just pardon yourself. She, literally, the epilogue is just her being sad in the mortal world. Just pardon yourself and go back there. If I were Jude, I would have left anyway. What good is it to be there? Why is she concerning herself with these issues when she's literally a human that could just go to the human world and live there peacefully without any fucking issues? I don't understand why she's putting herself through all the stress anyway. It doesn't make any sense to me. She's like, yeah, but this is home. You don't have any friends there. You don't have any family there. Fuck Taryn. Fuck your stepdad. He killed your whole family. Fuck him. Your big sister wants to live in the mortal world anyway. Live with her. Get over yourself. Everyone just does something in this book and then disappears. There are so many things left unanswered that it's just annoying. You can leave things unanswered for the next book in an installment, but not this much. Literally, what happened to the ghost? What happened to Carden's mom after you released her, because she did release her. What happened? Did I say it was Carden's mom? That it was the woman in the tower. That was Carden's mom. What happened there? We have no idea. Carden having a fucking tail is the thing that gets me most of the time. I always forget that Fae look different because there's no description given for anything in this fucking book. Carden with his tail, I forget until he takes it out. Why does he have one? Why? That is it for my review of The Wicked King by Holly Black. I didn't know I was so mad about it. I just don't like Jude as a main character. I know a lot of people like her because they think she's badass and shit. I just don't agree with that. And that's fine. I don't have to agree with everything. I also don't like Carden. I think he has no personality. I think both of them have no connection besides thinking each other is hot. And so, will I read The Queen of Nothing? Maybe. I don't know. I just think this is a shit show that I like putting myself through. I thought it was really boring at times. When I had nothing to do, I never thought, oh, I'm gonna continue reading The Wicked King because I'm so excited of what's gonna happen next. I just left it where it was, you know, I didn't pick it up. I don't know what I rated The Cruel Prince, but I would rate this like a 2.5 because I was really mad about it. Overall, I think it was better than the first one. It was boring as fuck. I really didn't want to read it. I almost fell asleep reading it. I hope everyone enjoyed my rant. Again, no hard feelings if you love this book. That is completely fine. I love seeing fan art of Jude and Carden. Think artists make them look really pretty and cute together. It just hurts to know the truth that I don't like them that much. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will see you in my next video. Bye!